Here we are in the 2022 period where
well, we've got the same
have a breakdown, and the comparisons I think are strong, is what I'm saying.
I'm also saying that Satoshi was the vigilante, and he brought financial justice via Bitcoin.
Well, he's brought something that can give people individual sovereignty and individual agency outside of any reliance on the government. So the Bernie Getz of today wouldn't need to go and take the law into their own hand. They would just be stacking sats.
Bitcoin delivered its 8th straight week of losses for investors for the first time in its history amid weak macroeconomic sentiment, inflation concerns, systemic risk from within the crypto industry, and the lack of immediate catalysts that could drive upside growth. Prices were at $30,272, after falling as low as $28,700 earlier in the week. Bitcoin last saw a positive week of gains in mid-March as prices jumped from $41,000 to $46,000. It has slid every week since then, falling nearly 60% from November highs of just over $69,000. Hello and welcome back to Wealthy Value. In today's video, Bitcoin maximalist and the host of Orange Pill podcast Max Keiser updates about Bitcoin's role in solving the centralization versus decentralization conflict, the collapse of fiat currencies, and how Bitcoin adoption can help US to reassert its presence as a top economy. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video, where Max Keiser predicts what's going to play out next in the middle of this inflation bubble, and why it's better to opt out of the centralized system. Before we start, make sure to secure your crypto trading from hackers and malwares by using a VPN. A VPN, or virtual private network, allows you to browse safely and anonymously by encrypting your internet traffic and defending you against online snooping, hackers, and governments. We recommend our friends at Atlas VPN, who are offering our viewers an exclusive 82% discount via the link in the description. A VPN is an essential tool for a crypto trader. Without a VPN, your original IP address is traceable and can reveal your city, zip, and area codes. Atlas VPN protects your privacy by hiding your real IP address, so the crypto websites you visit and your activities there can't be traced back to you. It can also help you overcome geoblocks and access crypto websites otherwise unavailable to users in your region. Click the link in the description to secure an 82% discount for a limited time. Let's dive right into the video.
I think the conflict for this century is centralization versus decentralization.
Yeah.
You know, we've moved on from capitalism versus communism. Now it's centralization versus decentralization. What Davos represents is an attempt to centralize. They want World Economic Forum. They want the International Monetary Fund. They want the World Bank. They want the World Health Organization. They want global institutions of unelected public officials or unelected officials to impose global regulations and to centralize things
and to continue the Cantillon effect, because they're all cantillionaires, right?
That's where they come from, and so this is where they're going, and this is always a recipe for disaster. And we know this from nature. Anytime you see centralization in nature, it ends up in failure. So you need decentralization, you need variety, you need diversity. That's what gives strength. And of course, Bitcoin is decentralization. So Bitcoin is very much on the other side of this conflict. The shitcoiners at Davos have sided with the centralization, the centralizers, and all of the shitcoins are centralized creations compared to Bitcoin. They're either relatively or absolutely centralized compared to Bitcoin, and so they've taken their lot with the centralizers. The CBDCs are centralizers. The fiat money is centralized, and even gold, to a large degree, is centralized. So they've picked their side. You know, that's the side that they're on. Then there's the decentralized side. And the decentralized side is picking up a lot of steam in the global south, right? El Salvador, Central America, Nigeria, these countries are now part of the decentralized pushback with Bitcoin against the global north. The key word there is airlift. You know, it triggers a lot of thoughts in the minds, you know, that the U.S. would airlift aid to Berlin, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. would airlift aid to Biafra. or other countries that were having food crises in Africa or Latin America, and you need to airlift this into this country thanks to the wonderful nation of do-gooders here in the U.S. Well, now the U.S. is having baby formula airlifted on an emergency basis due to the complete collapse, as you say, collapse of empire or collapse of the fiat money cantillionaires. You know, eventually you print to update the Margaret Thatcher quote. Remember, she said that the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah.
I think we got to update this quote. Is that the problem of fiat money is that eventually you run out of willing buyers of your fake fiat money bonds. You know, eventually it runs out. It doesn't go forever. The incapacity to take care of oneself is being normalized across the social spectrum. So in the world of economics, nobody can work really for a living, so they're airdropped free money through these packages that come of the fiat money. You can't get baby formula, so it's being airlifted down. Soon there'll be, airlifting in lots more. They're going to have to do something about the energy crisis with gas going to $7, $8. You know,
gasoline,
on Twitter, I predicted a few months ago that we'd see $12 a gallon of gas in 2022. You've got in Seattle, gas stations are already modifying the machines to take double digits on the left side of the decimal point. So they're looking for $10, $11, $12 a gallon. So that's going to completely jam up the economy. And diesel prices are already at historic highs, causing massive problems in the trucking industry. So this airlifting of vital supplies into the U.S., it looks like this is the beginning of a big trend. This kicked off actually the whole craze in poker, like restarted a big craze in poker. But you know, it's a giant poker game, and the thing about it is that eventually you've got to show your hand. You know, you get called. And this is what happened in February 24th or February 26th, however you want to look at it, of 2022. And you mentioned the ruble there in Russia. You know, Russia basically said, okay, I'm calling you. I'm calling your bet, America and Europe. I'm going to call your bet. I mean, that's the way it's played. Now, here we are a few months later, and the ruble is skyrocketing, and they're airlifting baby formula into the U.S. So I would say who won this particular pot in the global geopolitical game of poker? Well, it's not the U.S. We'll see what happens going forward. The U.S. has a history of innovation and rallying to a cause, and we'll see how the next hand plays out. But I think the first hand clearly was not won by the U.S. team America. Of course, in 2008, we had the Arab Spring, and that was along with oil at $147 a barrel. Now, recently, oil got to 137, not quite hitting a new all-time high. But it's certainly across the commodity index, the whole spectrum of commodities, they are hitting new all-time highs in lots of different commodities around the world as the purchasing power of the dollar continues to fall away. And it gets back to your original point about empire falling away. I mean, Russia, before this crisis, was not considered to be an important economic element in the global economy, except when you adjust for commodity presence and then adjust it for commodity input in terms of the raw material that goes into the global economy. It's in the top 5. So as of February, one of the top 5 economies in the world suddenly was at loggerheads with the other 4, right? And the other 4 are debtors that need the commodities. So again, getting back to my poker table analogy, the chips seem to be on one side of the table here. I'm looking forward to, I mean, the U.S. could adopt a Bitcoin standard. That would immediately catapult it into the 21st century in a meaningful way, and they could reassert their presence as a top dog economy. That would be fantastic. I would look forward to seeing something like that happen. Barring any making Bitcoin legal tender in the U.S., I'm trying to figure out what the plan is. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the February 26th, as you say, was the date that the reserves were confiscated, and the dollar and the Treasury Department in Washington, D.C. kind of took the U.S. dollar away from being a tier 1 global reserve currency to being a regional currency of North America and the United States. It was no longer a global currency. So China looked at that and said, well, we kind of saw this coming for a while. That's why we've been buying so much gold for the past 20 years. That's why we have thousands of tons of gold in case this scenario was going to unfold. Of course, they have a lot of geopolitical ambitions themselves. And they may decide that this is a good time for them to expand their wings a little bit and expand themselves territorially. Of course, in their view, that wouldn't be much of an expansion of all, but from the world eyes, it would seem like they're going after an expansionist policy. How that's going to play out in the current scenario, I can't imagine that it would help this incipient inflation bubble at all. I mean, if China is now no longer part of the globalized world and they're going to start charging real prices for their stuff, I mean, that means prices are going to go up again for all that stuff at Walmart. Look at Walmart and Target just reported earnings for the quarter that were a big shockingly terrible, because the margins are horrible, because the stuff that they're importing from China is a lot more expensive, and saying, I opt out of the system. And if I can't get respect here in this country, I'll go to some country where I do get respect. That's the game plan, is the CBDC, to swap out all the fiat money for central bank digital money, and then you've got total surveillance. As somebody in Davos remarked this week, Keiser is developing some kind of pill with a tracking device that would track everybody's quote-unquote health in real time, to give them, as he says, total control, total insight into everybody at the same time. Okay, that's just centralization. That is centralization. It goes through a central database, and then that database is manipulated in certain ways to create more quintillionaires and more cash flow for the quintillionaires. And that's the plan.
So do you agree with Max Keiser that the collapse of fiat currencies is coming? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.